19th of December, and I'm going with one from Mark Broskic, I think his name is. And he is notorious for taking and upgrading or upscaling elites into ultimates. And we'll put the European Championship away for a second. Of course, we've gotten one of these, but it was super hard to come by. It was only from a certain look. It was only from, before he won world titles. And I decided when I saw this one, I had to get this one. Because we did get an elite of it. It's sitting in a box, untouched, from his Royal Rumble 97 look. But when I saw they turned into an ultimate, I had to get it. Shawn Michaels 1997 Royal Rumble. I watched this match against Psycho Sid as many times as I could. Obviously, the tape, my aunt, when she recorded this back in the day when I was poor, she would do me a favor, and she would, they had the pay-per-views, she'd order it, and then she'd record it and send it to me. But they didn't put on long play, they put on short play. So I got the Rumble, and it'd get to the pay-per-view where Shawn enters and Sid enters, and Shawn gets like a few kicks in, and then Sid kicks him and throws him out of the ring, and he's going to dump him out, and he grabs his eye, and whatever it is, and then the tape stops. And that's the end of it. I don't see the end of the match. So, and then over time, I even ended up using that tape to record my recital bit. So now Shawn enters, and then it cuts over to me playing violin. So I forgot all about that part. And I was like, well, whatever. Eventually, I would see the entire match in its entirety again. You can find it, obviously. It was a good match. Shawn, of course, had a unique look that night because, he had the 5 o'clock shadow going, which is what this figure has from that whole look. He basically just used, I do believe, the Shawn Michaels torso. I could be wrong, though. He might have used somebody else's torso. Because that Shawn was kind of bulky looking. But this is great because I wanted a, former world champion, Shawn Michaels look, not just before he became champion with the zebra stripe, mismatched knee pads. Of course, this doesn't have knee pads. Somebody does have one on eBay that does have the knee pads. They built the knee pads, which helps pop the figure a little bit more. My hope is that Mattel will, I'm not going to sit there and say get it together, but can we get some more Ultimate Shawn Michaels representation, please? I know we had the chance for the 96 King of the Ring, which was like a black and blue gold look when he fought Bulldog, and I was really bummed that did not win. I thought, really, the generic red attire he wore when he, after he won the Royal Rumble and faced like Leif Cassidy is what they went with instead of like a world champion attire look. The only gripe on these, of course, is that they never finished painting the blue on the actual figure. So my hope is that they'll remedy that with another Ultimate in the future. I'm hoping for like a 96. I would kill for a 96 Survivor Series against Psycho Sid attire look. I love that gold look on there. Why we haven't seen a WrestleMania 12 Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels 2-pack Ultimate look, like greatest rivalries or WrestleMania main events. Those would sell. I don't understand why they're not doing that kind of stuff. No offense to the Usos, but I feel like, you got the Coliseum collection. That's great for the Coliseum big rubber guy figures, for the diehard fans of that. But what about the, New Gen and the Attitude Era? What about Greatest Rivals there? You don't need Rock and Stone Cold. We got tons of those already covered. But how sick would it be to be Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels? Of course, Bret's getting a Monday Night War Ultimate pretty soon. But how cool would it be to have Shawn Michaels and a Bret, or Shawn and a Sid, Shawn and a Vader? There's so many different things that could happen. And I mean, it doesn't have to even necessarily be that. It could be Kurt Angle and Undertaker, Royal Rumble 2006. That was a really sick match. That was a really sick attire. Shawn Michaels and Kurt, WrestleMania 21. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be the main event match, but why not like a, quarterly Mattel Creations? I mean, no offense, I bought LOWO. I bought 2 packs at LWO because I know Cruz del Toro and Joaquin, well, I won't get elites ever again. And of course, yes, I know they're breaking up and all that kind of stuff, and it sucks, but I'm not, I'm not buying just current guys. I buy old school guys as well. But how sick would it be? I remember talking about, I think on the Mattel boards, I'm going to put him out of the way for a second. I remember talking about on the Mattel boards about, WrestleMania main events. WrestleMania 1, you could have, we got Piper on the way. We don't have Orndorff. I had to make a custom. I had to get a custom Orndorff made. But WrestleMania 2, you could have Hogan, and King Kong Bundy. Of course, we have plenty of Hogan. So many Hogans. It's getting Hulk ridiculous. But, obviously King Kong Bundy, that could be another guy. Obviously they don't have they're getting the big body Ultimate Edition with Yoko in the future. We got Andre, we got Hogan, we don't need those two. We could use it, so we just lost Right Savage. Ted DiBiase, we could use a Ted DiBiase. We got Sergeant Slaughter, we could probably do a different Sergeant Slaughter, one that's not going to cost an arm and a leg to acquire. Wrestling attire, not just G.I. Joe look from the AWA look. There's just so many different things, but, much like a John Cena necessarily, Shawn Michaels had so many different attires. And not saying you have to make every single one ultimate, but can we maybe get an ultimate 96 King of the Ring, or even WrestleMania 25 Undertaker and Shawn Michaels? I mean, that was like considered the greatest match of all time, the build up behind that. And yeah, we had an Elite way back when, but that figure is super expensive nowadays, and you've got the parts. And Shawn also is a guy who works great in ultimate style, I feel like. I mean, the arms definitely, the only Undertaker we have, I know we have the greatest hits coming out, so it's a re-release, whatever it is. But please, Mattel, somebody who watched this, I don't know if, Mattel, please, put out some more Ultimate Shawn Michaels. Maybe just one more. If you gotta go WrestleMania 12, maybe one a year, something. Bring out a little bit more in the Shawn Michaels department. I mean, the only one that's officially released, this is not an official release. I'd have this made. The only official one released is before he was world champion. Put out a world champion attire. The guy earned it.